live. And we are back. Second night in a row. I'm 2 for 2. Today we bleh. Scratch that.
Today we
Yes, scratch that. Retake it.
strong
Well,
opener.
my brain is mush. How is your day? We are joined today by the cast of the Dapper Dans. Everybody, say hi.
Hi.
What up?
Oi.
We will unfortunately be down a Yami, but for those of you who tune in for the Cabbage Slugs, you got to see him yesterday, and I don't know if that's enough of Yami. Might be enough.
It's never enough, Yami.
Never enough Yami. But that does mean that he went off to get the milk again. Sorry, Fennec.
Satisfied.
Just used to it by now.
Oh. I tried to persuade the players to do recap, but they wouldn't do it. So that leaves me doing the majority of the talking. So, audience,
Yay!
get ready for it. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, after all, several of our cast members have officially been branded in character, not in real life. I promise you, I did not brand them in real life.
I don't know.
Tell the audience I didn't do it. I did not drive out to Boston.
He did not do it. He wanted to, but he did not.
I thought about it, but that's a lot of work and a lot of money.
In a lot of trouble.
I could use a good vacation.
Ironically, you would probably wind up getting branded for branding us.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. That or at least arrested for assault.
That's fine irony.
It's just going to create a daisy chain of people getting branded. Eventually,
So-
it'll be just the MLM format.
Yeah, it's on brand.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da.
All right, good spirits for tonight. Over the last couple of the sessions, the players have been engaged in interesting activities. After a break-in by a couple of acolytes as well as a master thief attempting to steal the necklace, the players dispatched with them, and the Blackguard made sure to stress. You did not get into trouble for defending yourself and people dying. It was what happened after. After some corpses kind of found themselves into pieces, and discussions ensued, and a lot of talk of getting a lot of, I think, what it was, quicklime had been discussed, ultimately culminating in the maid Heidi going to tell the cops. After a long round of
I thought it was
investigation,
Kaylee. Or
It is-
Haley.
Haley. Did I say Heidi? I apologize.
You said Heidi.
All right. I go back to my brain is apparently mush. I do apologize.
I
The
just
name was
well,
Haley.
trust me. My eyes on the prize. I know who I want to kill.
You're right. That's why I don't question your hit list.
How dare you not remember every single NPC's name? I bet
Right.
you don't even remember the name of that priest that Gearfried met at the very beginning of the game. The one that fixed the crystal.
Yeah, I
That's
have
what
no.
I thought.
I do not know his name anymore. I don't even think I gave him a name. So that was
I
a
don't think you
trick
did.
question, sir. It was not important enough for a name.
True.
It's similar to the person who gave the dress to Saris. I don't believe I gave her a name either.
You did. Called her
Did I?
Echo. Got the impression she implied I would see her again.
Well, yes. And you might. You might. With that, after all of that ordeal, Saris managed to keep her at herself and Maidley away from prying eyes. And it had been revealed that her dragon mark has fully manifested. It is no longer the festering wound that it once was, but now a perfectly formed, scarred version of a dragon mark tattoo. After all that was said and done, the police did come back after clearing the corpses and collected Fennec and Gearfried, and inevitably offered them a choice. I believe it was a 2,000 gold piece fine. It was either a 2,000 gold piece fine, being branded as a corpse defiler, or doing 1 year in a labor camp. You did choose the branding. Gearfried got his brand on the sole of his foot, and it still hurts me. Like, I just said those words, and I was scratching at my foot, because that's a brave man, even though he's resistant to fire.
How
And
did
Fennec-
that guy know how to deal with genacity? There are like 8 of us.
Okay.
He for sure has met one of Gearfried's biological siblings.
You can assume that, because it is a wide world. And there are others that come into the realms as planeswalkers. In theory. And Fennec, you took your brand on the ass. I
did.
I believe Levin, you took yours like a champ. Well, Fennec, you
Levin is not branded.
Sorry.
Nope.
Sorry.
It's only 11 and Gearfried.
I had 11 on. I have 11 on the brain apparently. Gearfried took his like a champ. Fennec, I believe you rolled low on yours, and you tried,
I rolled about as low as you can go.
but you were not able to man it out like Gearfried was. And you made your way back. After that, you did notice that there had been people who have, with the Black Guard, who has been standing guard around the manor, looking and waiting for Saris and Maylee's return. We left off where you were all debating the fate of Saris, in a sense, where I believe you were all trying to convince her to just have a conversation and would just answer the questions, offering ways of possibly hiding the dragon mark so that it doesn't get exposed, so that she can just get it over with. So with that, I do believe you. Where were you all having this conversation? Because I think one of the last things that happened was the dinner bell rang. Saris, you might have gone up to your room with Maylee.
Mhm.
Wasn't there an instance where Saris was about to leave the room and Levin stopped her because he was using rope trick?
She went back into her room, and Levin
Yeah.
stopped the door.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was while I believe you were at the Blackguard's police station.
Oh, okay.
Whew. Okay, so from that part, is there anything that your players may want to do before we go into the next day?
No, I'm.
That's what I can think of.
I feel like I'm ready for the next day.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna just switch out one of my infusions real quick. I'm gonna bring back Cogfried and turn off the radiant weapon.
That works. So go ahead and you can mark off a long rest.
Wrong button.
As the night progresses, we are going to be doing a bit of a time skip after this next day. So I believe you guys are about 9 to 10 days into your mission. You have another 3 days realistically, or 3 to 4 days. As the day starts, what is it you guys would be doing in the morning? What are your normal daily routines while you're doing this house sitting job?
I mean, Fennec would be icing his ass.
I get that.
I mean, he's just like, just for, safekeeping.
You are going to notice that the staff, after, I'm assuming you were complaining about the punishment that you had to deal with, yes?
There might be some not open complaint like that's just like he'd be walking around like, dude, like how the two in Home Alone when when Harry like gets his head burned, he's just kind of like muttering but mouthing off at the same time. That's kind of what he's doing. Like he's not like coherent.
Gotcha, because I was kind of picturing it with you sitting on your hemorrhoid pillow as you're bitching to Gearfried about the unfairness that they put you through and the clear racism that they were demonstrating.
Oh, I'm sure that would have gone through, but it would just kind of pop up randomly in between little bits of just like sputtering of murmuring and gritting of teeth. He's still not happy about it, so he's like not processing words. He's just rambling.
Gotcha. So that's that.
Yeah, and then it'd be like, and like, because I'm a god, like you'll have those little bouts. I mean, Gearfried at this point.
What happened?
I said Gearfried's used to it at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He selectively tunes you out, I'm sure.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know. I can't.
So, as the next day wakes, you hear it about 7 o'clock in the morning. Let me progress the time forward. Next day. You would be hearing the breakfast bell ringing.
Gearfried will go down and grab some food.
Alright.
Notably slightly covered in grease.
Is anybody else going down for breakfast?
Fennec will be going down.
Probably in an attempt to not make the staff more uncomfortable, would be keeping to herself and staying in the room. I know they're not really in the room, but Cyrus is of the mind that the less she's seen around the house, the happier the staff is.
That's fair. Those of you who do enter the room, and particularly those who were with the group in Sharn, you would see a familiar face sitting at the table, sipping tea and eating some of the breakfast. As you walk in, you would see Vashti, the Kalishtar assistant to Alden New York.
Gearfried wouldn't know this person, right?
No.
All right. So upon entering, Gearfried is immediately going to hold up one of his hold up his gauntlet in like a fighting stance and just be like, "Whoa, hold on, new person. Who the hell's this? How do you get in?"
You're the loud one. You're loud early in the morning, aren't you?
We're tasked on defending this house. You're a fucking intruder. Who the fuck are you?
And you were going to see the chef Vorlina walk out and pour him another cup of tea. Thank you so much, my dear.
Gearfried's just gonna look at the waiter or the chef and give her just that like, what do you like? He's just giving her an expression that's like, what the hell is happening right now?
And Fennec, you did say you were walking in, right?
Yep, he's already at the table. He'll look over and be like, after Gearfried finishes and after the coffee is poured, "Are you burglaring this house?"
Fennec, do I look like somebody who's going to burgle this house? Would I be
See?
sipping tea?
See? He's gonna look at like Gearfried. It's fine.
No, it's not fine. How the fuck did he get in? How do we miss this?
Vernon, let me in.
That Levin's gonna be pissed.
That's Vernon's problem, not ours.
Gearfried will sit down.
Have you
And then,
finally started to calm down? And he's going to motion for Verlina. Can you bring him either some chamomile or something decaf?
Decaf. Who the fuck drinks decaf?
Well, he seems very wired. He seems to need to calm down.
That's not gonna help him.
Real quick, with Gearfried's yelling, If Levin was anywhere nearby, you probably would have at least put an eye towards the room.
It would have been definitely loud enough to have drawn your attention.
Yeah, I'll walk in about a minute.
Because you would have heard him quite literally say, "Who the fuck are you?" And as you
Considering
do,
that he's yelling that as a question, I'll walk in.
you would see the similar sight, except Fennec would be. Would you be sitting near him or far away from him, Fennec, across the table? Because the table is long.
So Fennec, according to the map, Fennec is in the middle of the table, wall side, like outer wall side.
Okay. So he would be sitting at the natural head of the table.
Okay.
So he would be here.
Fennec's trying to figure out how to get bacon.
But if you want bacon, you can ask.
Bacon.
And you are going to see somebody who takes a plate out, and it is loaded with bacon, and starts putting some on your plate. Oh, Levin, glad you could join us.
Levin's going
Would you
to
like
give
some
a light
breakfast?
bow. Levin's going to give a light bow. Good morrow, sir. And no, I am taking care of my own meals. Dietary requirements.
Yeah, the staff told me. Okay, it works. You're missing
You'll
out
excuse
because
me.
Verlina is a top-ranked chef.
I appreciate the attempted accommodations, but I do not wish to trouble the staff any further. That said, I do have to, and he's going to give a head count of the room. I would at least have to bring meals to the other parties not present.
Oh, I heard you have been traveling around with your own ward, eh?
I
And he's going to look between
don't
Fennec
have
and
terrible.
Levin.
I don't have terribly many comments to confer towards that. He's going to look towards any present staff members. My apologies if you could prepare 3 plates.
Of course. And they will start preparing plates for that you requested.
Yeah, for the most part, it's just for Saris Melee and Yami.
Yep.
I'll be patiently waiting.
So, I heard you guys have been having fun.
Heard how?
Well, you don't think that the staff talks with the main house?
Pardon me if I may interject. Gearfried, the good sir here, Vashti, is an assistant to Alden Diorian in Sean.
Now you're Diorian affiliated. I guess that makes sense.
Indeed.
And technically, he... pardon me if this is an overstep. He outranks literally everyone else in this house currently.
Ah,
That would be a fair assessment of the situation. It was,
Levin will nod and keep silent.
as you can imagine, when word kind of spread to Sean about the goings on in the house, you could imagine that Lord Diorian would request that somebody goes to tend to the situation.
right, you're in communication with Diorian right now.
Well, at least I have a standing stone directly to him, yes.
There may be some things that we need to talk to him about if there's a way to talk to him.
Different
And
Diorian.
that is why I am here.
Well, for one, the security of I'm not sure if it would really pertain to the entirety of House Orion, but the security of Durian's affairs have been compromised.
As a point of clarification, he is mentioning the security of the manor for Horde.
Yes, Horridon. But there's always the chance that he's got some important piece of information or documentation that is detrimental to the entirety of House Orion.
What regard do you mean?
Who has a suitcase? I genuinely don't remember who has the suitcase.
I think you do.
How do I?
It's either, yeah, I think it was you because you were questioning the other staff.
Yeah.
I pull out the suitcase that I totally had with me.
You just so happen to walk around with it all the time.
It's my attaché case.
Yes.
Made of real
You
dragon
take-
leather.
You take a look at this attaché, and I open it up and show him the dirty pictures.
Yes, unfortunately we knew about that.
Does Lord Durian know?
No, not yet. I said we knew about it.
Oh. Well,
Unfortunately for Lord Horridon, Lord Alden did not trust his wife. And unfortunately, he had some bad choice in hiring a sleuth to follow the poor woman, who ended up attempting to extort. But thankfully, that person was stopped, and we have apprehended a individual that is associated, however much he protests, with the Das clan.
young shifter lad.
Indeed, how did you know?
That's the fella that came over with that's how we managed to take this. He came over with these to extort Lord Horridon.
So, yes, safe to say, mistakes were made. But that is something that simply paying money could have suppressed. And no, I don't mean to the extortionist. I mean to the newspapers.
I'm not even going to comment on the whole controlling the media narrative, but
It's not controlling, it's coaxing with support and sponsorship.
that's just a fancier way of saying controlling.
No, it's an expensive saying controlling.
Exactly. How do you think most businessmen make money? But, unfortunately, I did receive a rather alarming call from the house staff here the other night.
Oh, whatever for.
You know very well what he's talking about. Yes, the bodies were fucking desecrated, but it was initially to begin to hide them. We didn't really know what to do.
He's just going to shake his head.
Levin's following suit.
Did we learn a lesson?
Move faster.
His eye is gonna twitch.
Beg pardon, if you would give me some time to draw up a report, I will provide it for you to carry over to Lord Alden.
Of course, that would be wonderful. But what I'm more interested in, because I do know these two individuals did pay their due, now it's time to figure out what's going on with... What is her name?
Melee.
Currently. No, he is referring to herself as Saris.
It's good to know that the new one has a name, eh? So Melee. He's going to make a mental note of that.
Does she get branded too?
She wasn't involved in that.
Does she get branded too?
Gearfried, did
Pardon
you
me,
say
good
that in
sir,
character?
I'm going.
I like if Fennec said that in character, then I said that
Fennec
too.
saying it in character.
So he would just,
Pardon me, good
as
sir.
Yep, sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to take these away, and he's going to motion towards dishes that are being produced.
Yep, they are
With the
ready to
report produced presently.
appreciate it.
And he's going to leave this?
So, was she involved in the situation?
I mean, it's hard to say who's
No.
involved.
Look, he has a hate boner for the girl. I don't know why. No, she wasn't involved. In fact, I think she was rather upset about the entire ordeal.
You don't think he has a crush on her, do you?
What's that?
You don't think he has a crush on her, do you?
Ugh.
Fennec is going to curse in Sylvan.
Okay. He is going to
Nothing
understand you.
harmful. He's just cursing
That's okay.
at the crush comment.
Gearfried will. So I was about to say something, but is going to stop himself and then say in Dwarvish, you speak Dwarvish?
He's going to respond in a very broken dwarvish tongue, as if it's
Okay.
not commonly spoke, but he can understand the gist of what you'd say.
Then Gearfried is going to say in Dwarvish, as simply as he can, because he would recognize that it was like rudimentary. He is jealous of Sarah, or he's jealous of Saris's attention.
And he's going to respond, makes sense. And he's just going to look at Fennec and nod as he says it.
Oh, you are so lucky he doesn't have comprehend languages ready.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
No, it is. But I still have something that I'm waiting for.
Alrighty. Gearfried, have you given this man your name yet?
I'm not.
So, and you must be new to this party. They had a warforged. You don't look like a warforged.
No, actually, I was promised I would meet a Warforged, and that never happened. I'm still slightly disappointed by that.
I understand that. He was an interesting fellow.
You know, purely mechanical being is certainly right up my alley, but yeah, no, that sounded interesting when I was pitched the idea of joining.
But what is your name?
Gearfried, or Gear, if you like.
Gearfried. Name sounds familiar. Anyway, so about this debacle, I am going to start making sure that the press around does not get wind of any of this. This cannot blacken the name of the House Orient.
Well, I mean, that's probably for the best, I would assume, but apparently the staff are a bit loose-lipped. Gearfried's going to say that very loud and pointedly.
They're loose-lipped only if there are steps that need to be taken. As far as I see it, and I'm sure the police officers are the same, once those bodies were killed, no longer of life, authorities should have been called. We cannot consistently pull "it's a dragon-marked house," otherwise it can start to corrode the tenuous balance that currently exists. So, I do understand, and I have been briefed by the staff of your mission. If anybody is to enter this house and you want to kill them, in self-defense, of course, he's going to say, just in case there's any rise of protest, please make sure you alert the proper authorities before taking care of it yourself.
Right.
So you want us to, if someone breaks in, and they start a fight with us, hypothetically, we can't do anything until we call you?
Did I say me?
The authorities.
Yes, those people that branded you. That's who you're supposed to call when somebody dies.
Oh, so we can kill them first, then call.
Preferably send a runner to go alert them while you're self-defending yourself.
We can't. We were told we can't leave.
Yes, but the staff can.
I don't know if I trust them. Not with that.
You must be a sorcerer.
What makes you say that?
Because most wizards I know are smarter than that.
Good deduction. But you're correct.
So, there is this other thing that you could do, and it's called apprehend without killing. And he's going to flourish his hand across like it's a fanciful concept.
Well, in fairness, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult done than said. But we might actually be able to mitigate any future situation because we know who we're after, or at least who House Orion should be after. That party planner that set up the whole shindig, we're fairly certain, given the, and I will point to several of the photos. This photo, you can see him right there. Right, you can see him right there in that photo. You can see him in there in that photo. We're pretty sure he's the one that's trying to steal the dragon crystal necklace.
Okay. Do you have any ideas or understandings as to why he might be trying to steal this?
Working theory is currently money.
Okay, good reason. All right, now, the elephant in the room. Where is the other one, and why hasn't she given up the questioning?
Personal reasons, I believe.
Now, this is the last bit of things that have to be wrapped up before this can all be pushed under the carpet, so to speak.
She has a general distaste for authority.
Okay. That's not a good reason.
No, but it does threaten the structure of the group if we were to insist on her interaction with authority. At least that's the way she made it seem.
And you're going to just notice that he just sips at his tea. He appears to be calm. Oh, that's right, Pickle.
I don't suppose there would be a way to inflict some sort of punishment without having her need to actually speak to anybody.
Well, unfortunately, I am not a lawman. So that's something that, again, the proper authorities would have to go through, which means that she would have to talk to people. But I can see what strings I can pull. There's no promises there.
At the very least, do you think you can delay any need to question her until the end of the time period we're supposed to be guarding this house?
As said, I can see what I can do. And with that, we're going to jump to Saris. Saris, you are upstairs. You might have heard Gearfried shout, but because you're on a different floor, you may not have been able to coherently hear what he was saying.
I assume he is shouting at Fennec.
Good assumption. And Maylee's just going to kind of lay in bed and she's going to yawn and stretch. Are we going to be leaving the room today?
Perhaps. I would want to talk it over with Levin. Don't want to leave him in the lurch. Also, he can track me. And I would rather convince him not to, if I can. If I decide to leave, I don't know. In these situations, it's kind of good to have a place to run to, if you understand my meaning. Running blindly is how you get caught.
Well, of course. Especially if you're wanted in the capital of Breland. A lot of places in Breland may be off limits. It would be, though.
Sean's wonderful this time of year. The lower city has a wonderful sort of musk to it.
You're gonna see her. You're gonna see her nose kind of crinkle at the scent of must that kind of comes with the text. Must. Okay.
No, not
sure.
must. Musk.
Oh.
It's much more pungent than must. Yeah. It tends to foul sort of scent-based tracking.
That's okay. Doesn't sound wonderful to smell, though.
No, but its practical uses are amazing. This place is too clean.
As she is conversing with you, she's going to stand up and walk to the window. Those black guards are still outside. I wonder if they're still at the back window, too. Ooh.
My
bad. They're probably going to, depending on how determined they are, probably need to make a decision on whether we're staying or going. Eventually. I have contingency plans for both options. Like I said, best to discuss it with the group before I make any full decisions.
It's at about that moment, I'm sure Levin would be bringing you your food, so you would be hearing, and Levin, I assume you'd be knocking first, yes?
Do you want to build a snowman?
Shh, that's Disney. Stop. Anything else but Disney.
They don't care about our stream.
Sorry, you hated that one too easy.
Forgive us, Disney. Don't sue us. We got nothing. But support from the viewers like you would be helpful.
Sorry.
Nonetheless, Levin is knocking.
Yes.
Really instinctual.
Saris will go to the door and open it just a crack, and when she sees Levin, she'll open it all the way.
Your food for breakfast, and Vashti, the assistant to Alden Diorian, is currently downstairs. You presumably have someone with which to negotiate your circumstances.
Unexpected?
Considering the house staff was informing other dragon-marked heirs of House Orion, I was expecting someone to show up.
Okay, well, No, that's just disappointing. I hate the staff here. You haven't seen Haley around, have you?
Not to my recollection.
Okay. Well, if I remember correctly, Vashti was the assistant to Alden? No.
Alden Diorian.
Alden. Right.
We saved his
His-
son.
Yes, now I remember the circumstances. Just forgot his name. Excellent. And she will mutter under her breath and cast Disguise Self and return her appearance to the assistant elf. No, half elf. She was a half elf and assistant. That she presented herself as. I'm here at your beck and call, my good sir. If you would like to present me to our newest guest.
As a precursor, he has been digging around and does know your other moniker, There's.
Frowns. Who told him? Was it Benny? Was it Gerfried? Gerfried's dumb that way.
I've not had time to cross-check references. I would not be able to tell you.
Kill them. Alright, no. But he doesn't know my face and I refuse to give it to him now.
As you like, but I would suggest any gestures towards the plates. Food first.
Fair enough. I'll be along in 15-20 minutes.
However long you take, I'm going to be continuing my rounds, and he is holding up a third plate of food. I have to give this one over to Yami.
Alright.
Pardon.
Thank you for the food.
He nods and continues on his path.
Hands a plate to Melee.
Thank you.
Well, things might be getting more interesting. Not sure if it's good or bad yet.
At least it's not going to be boring.
No. Boyne's definitely off the table today. She will start eating her breakfast while she talks.
Are you going to meet with him, or are you going to slip out the window? As she's taking a bite of bacon.
Probably meet with them. He's sort of aware of me already. He's met one of my personas, which has had their cover blown, apparently.
Yeah. I think you need to tell people to stop calling you Ceres around others.
Indeed. Not used to working with groups.
Because I feel like I haven't heard anybody use any other name other than that.
I usually assume that it's... Yes. I think the fault was giving them my name in the first place. Oh,
As she takes another bite of bacon and eating some of the eggs.
Sarah sort of picks at the breakfast a little bit, eating little bits of it. And then she goes, all right, I'm going to, I guess, see this person. Did you want to come along?
Sure, if you don't mind me coming. You usually have me hide out of sight of people.
He's been alone with Fennec and Gerfried for up to 30 minutes now. Pretty sure he knows your date of birth.
That poor individual.
Truly.
as she kind of finishes up. She was actually rather hungry, so she ate the entire plate. Well, not the entire plate, just all the contents on top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
And after that, she will go down. Like I said, she's sort of dressed in moderately nice attire. It's like well-to-do peasant look. Very clerical. She looks like a sort of office assistant, fantasy office assistant. And she's got sort of like caramel brown skin, dark brown hair, brown eyes, looks, and like I said, half elven, which is the face she was wearing when every time she went to Alden Diorian's house.
Yep. As you enter the room, Fennec and Gearfried, what is it you're talking about with Vishtar?
I suppose it would depend on how Gearfried would be letting Vishtar kind of take the conversation here.
So, Gearfried, you're new to the party. What brought you in? Why did you join them?
I was pitched. I was sold on the idea of meeting a Warforged because I've never had the pleasure before. And then things got a little bit messy. I was originally working on the what's the train called? I'm blanking on the name.
Lightning Row?
Yes, I was originally working contract for the Lightning Rail.
Very nice. Employed by the House Orion. Did you like it, though?
You know, different.
Now, I once heard of a fella who had attempted to unionize, talking about how the people standing together can do something. It was quite an interesting tale.
Sounds like a smart man.
Indeed. I tend to agree with him. And it's kind of at that point that Sarah should be walking in with Melee. Ah, hello there, dear. It's been a while.
Yes. Far too long.
And is
What
this
brings you to this wonderful neck of the woods?
is this enigmatic ward that your group has taken in?
She's my bodyguard?
Bodyguard. Okay. I apologize.
Route is dangerous.
I don't mean to
Everyone.
say that women can't be bodyguards. It's just she seems too pretty to be a bodyguard.
He girls can do anything.
Here, here. So, how have you been? How have your journeys been?
My journeys have been great. I
Mm.
love it here. Working for House Diorian has been one of the greatest highlights of my life up to this point. And I've gotten to do it twice now. Not a lot of people get to say that.
Go ahead and give me a deception or a persuasion check. I'll let you choose.
Uh,
I will be right back.
Alrighty.
do I make it public?
Yeah, go ahead. Make it a public roll. Let's see what you got.
I got a 20.
Ah,
I rolled
wonderful.
persuasion.
It's good to know. I've heard good things about you all. Well, at least up until the latest incident.
Some of my best work.
Before or after? And
I
he's
only
gonna
do my best.
I was gonna say he's gonna look at you with like a try me look.
It's like I like to give 100% in everything I do.
Good to know. So, please join us. Have a seat. Would you like something to drink?
No.
Serenity, please bring her some tea or something. And you're going to see one of the maids go and start fetching a cup of tea.
Doesn't look like Haley.
It does not look like Haley.
Okay.
Haley's not coming back until Horridon comes back.
I know. But Sarah's is like on the off chance, just watching all of them.
Yep, I got you. Nope, she is not in the vicinity of that building. So, if you don't mind me asking, what is stopping you from just resolving this issue?
I would rather not speak to the local constabulary. My past is a little delicate matter to bring up.
If I can work it where you speak only to the chief, would you consider?
No.
Not willing to bend at all?
In the matter of speaking to them, no, I'm afraid not.
So we find ourselves with a bit of a conundrum. Because they do want to put a bench warrant out for you.
Oh. Well, that didn't take long.
No. See, they find people evading questioning to be very suspicious in that way.
I miss Sean.
Yes. Well, that might be. But you, unfortunately, now you are in Rift.
Yes, I am.
And Sean, even the slums won't be able to save you from the god forever. Because within those slums, there are also the bounty hunters. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what I might be able to do. So I will be spending the day navigating political asinine tendencies. And I'm hoping that you might be able to find some form of flexibility to allow me to cleanly wrap up this situation so that it doesn't progress further.
She'll look around at the table and just like, can I speak to you just away from the rest of the group for a moment? Like gesture to like the other side of the table.
Are you saying that to Vashti?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
She'll go sit down and it's like, look, I'm in a pretty good position in life, not current events withstanding. And I would rather, my past has been just a little bit of a delicate matter. I've had to do some questionable things to earn coin. Had to do some indecent things. I'd rather not have to bring that up. And my concern is that going in to speak to the constabulary would bring me to the attention people I'd rather avoid, because I didn't necessarily leave my previous employment on the best of terms.
I will take that under serious advisement. I appreciate you sharing that. My goal is not to oust you.
I
The goal
appreciate that.
is to simply clean up the situation that has occurred. That's it. Making sure that you all don't come to have a bad picture painted of you, and House Orion does not have to bear this blight.
No, I understand, and I realize I've put you in a terribly difficult position. But you mentioned bounty hunters, and you talk to a constable, a report gets filed. Eventually, someone finds it, a trail happens, and then I'm in a much more awkward position.
I can understand the fear. But one of the things that we can do is make sure the name does not go onto the report. But the punishment must be, there must be this must be resolved. So, as said, let me go see what flexibility I can find within their system to see what we can do to accommodate it, because I do understand that my goal is not to complicate your life.
I understand, and I respect and appreciate the difficult position that you're in with this matter, and that it is most clearly of my making.
As I said to the others, in the future, while you're in the city, if you have to use extreme force while defending oneself, just inform the authorities and provide your statement, or have them provide your statement. It will be much easier on everybody, because these things do happen. Or try to apprehend them. But he is he is speaking to you with a very respectful tone. Like, he's not talking down to you or anything like that, and he is actually being very genuine. He is going to stand up. All right. Well, with this, I shall be off. Let's go see what I can do. And
Thank you.
he will walk off and to start heading out of the estate. With that, you are all in the dining room. Go ahead and take a few minutes to talk it out.
Sarah's just sort of like leans back, kicks her feet up on the table, and just like rolls her head back over the back of the chair, just like, I hate roach.
You've said that a lot.
Yeah.
I hate it a lot. Then she'll like sit up, look at across the table at Gearfried and Fennec. Which one of you told him my name?
Fennec's hands are going to immediately go up like it was not me.
Why are you raising your hand?
Because I'm scared of you.
Ah, sensible.
Like, this is like, I'm innocent.
Mm-hmm. I look at Gearfried.
No loyalty, it seems. He made it clear that he knew you. I assumed that the name was already on the table.
And was not expecting him to visit. Had I known, I would have recognized your sort of weak link in this particular chain and rectified it. I will find a punishment for you that is sufficient later.
Well, in the future, if you don't want me to spill that information, let me know who does and doesn't know your name.
Assume no one knows my name.
Well, see, now we're verging on very dangerous territory when I start referring to you by, what was it, Griffin or Griffin? I can't remember. If I start referring to you by one name by someone who knows you by an entirely different name, this is the problem with aliases. You need to be a little bit more straightforward.
To most people, I don't have a name.
I apologize. I will keep it a little bit more enigmatic in the future. What is the
Thank you.
general name you default to?
Thalia is often the one that I use if I have to give a name, unless I've obviously created a particular identity for a particular purpose.
Thalia it is.
Thank you. Take notes, Fennec.
What? I have to change your name
You have to not give my name.
so I can still call you the S word.
I think we should try not to say it in front of other people whenever possible. Most of
Okay.
the time, you don't have to say my name unless you need to get my attention.
Got it.
And
I
if
can
you
do
would
that.
like me to extend the same courtesy to you, I am certainly happy to do so.
Oh, I don't care what people call me.
I think that's not true at all.
It's like you get me.
Levin,
See, that was the test. You passed. You do care.
Levin,
Where's my hug?
during all of this time, and we're going to get back to that comment. I'm not going to forget that. Levin, what is it you'd be doing during this time? Because I know you are on patrol, and you did also mention that you were going to be writing a report up so that Vashti would be able to bring it to Alden Diorian.
I would have taken approximately 10 minutes to drum up the day by day for what has occurred within the manor, his side of the story, and he would have noted elements of information that were third-party information, just as like addendums to it.
Okay.
And he would pass that off because he's only going to stick to House Orion matters with regards to what has happened for the group.
Gotcha.
Like he is pigeonholing this.
Stick a pin in it.
So you would have about 20 minutes or so of time that you would have been on guard, on watch. Is there anything specifically besides the writing of the report that you'd be doing? Any sort of inner monologues that you might be having?
A brief consideration to maybe meditate on his ancestors later tonight, but outside of that, would have only been a passing moment.
Alrighty. With that, we're going to skip several hours by, and as evening sets, you would notice that the Black Guard is no longer standing post outside of the Diorian estate.
Is this noticeable?
If you're paying attention, yes.
That's a pleasant change.
Yes, but why?
Why not? Maybe they got bored. I'm not going to complain.
You're going to hear the sound of the main door open and then close as Vashti re-enters the manor.
Ceres will quickly re-up her disguised self back to her known face before he catches sight of her.
He's going to sit down in a huff as he motions for Serenity to bring him a cup of tea.
Day at the office.
More interesting than anything.
Something
So-
bad?
He's going to look at you kind of in a mystified expression. Now, Fennec and Gearfried, would you be at the dining room table as well?
Yep.
This is a few hours later, right?
Yep. So it went from about being early morning. We did a time skip throughout the day, so now it's about 6 o'clock in the evening.
Gearfried would be in the room with the MacGuffin.
Okay. As he is looking at you with a mystified expression, you are no longer wanted for questioning.
Weird.
And no, I had nothing to do with it. And he's going to look at you as if trying to work out the puzzle as to what is going on.
Been here. I don't know what that might be.
Ceres
My
is...
backup.
Yep.
Yeah, my backup plan was to flee this house and get out of road as quickly as possible.
You won't need to do that. You are not wanted for questioning. There seems to be no punishment.
Seems reasonable.
Sure. Sounds wonderfully
It-
reasonable for you.
It does. That's kind of why I like it. I am confused though. I'll be honest. Reasonable doesn't really happen for me this smoothly.
So now, Fennec, hearing this, what is your initial thought?
Hold on. Repeat what it was.
She got off scot-free. She's not wanted for questioning or anything.
No. It'd be nice to be a class favorite or class feared.
And he also mentioned that he had nothing to do with it.
He.
As in Vashti.
Yeah. Just another indication of the societal discrimination against my kind.
Didn't the Fire Genasi also get branded?
Look, I can't control everything they do, but I'm just saying the patterns are lining up, and it's getting harder and harder to hide it.
Sure.
Never stop being paranoid, Fennec.
If it is so bad here, there is always Drome.
There's always what?
Drome. It's where you'll find most goblins.
True. And hobgoblins and orcs.
Ooh,
Bugbears.
Dapper?
It's like a whole kingdom.
Well, it's more like a very large city of Breland.
It could be a kingdom.
But it's a part of Breland. So, fun meta fact, Breelish people feel that Drome is a part of their sovereign nation, while the Drome people feel, no, we are our kingdom.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the way she probably would have heard it from like other goblins and goblinoids that she'd hung out with in the streets of Sharn is that it was its own place and it was sort of like their promised land.
and this is where you see that clash of he is that Breelish citizen that feels, no, and he will always correct anybody who he hears say that. It's still a part of Breland. So you would hear this little tit-for-tat debate about the geopolitical position of Drome. But yes, that is where you would find goblins and other more frowned upon from normal society of Breland.
I think we should take a field trip.
A little out of our itinerary's path.
I mean, I'm just saying, if we're in that area, it might be nice to stop in, see some kin, maybe find out why my bio parents tried to kill me. I don't know, things like that.
They what?
Nothing. We got things to do.
Oh,
Well, fear not.
Okay.
I will be looking into this further as to how it is you had gotten so lucky.
I mean,
I'm rather curious.
She has a magical horseshoe up her ass.
no, stares at Fennec. You will suffer later for this. And I turn back to Vashti. I don't know. I'm usually not worth remembering.
Then he's going to turn to Melee. You, they never heard of, or they said they never heard of. Which is strange because, as far as I know, from what I was told by Vernon, that Haley did mention that everybody who was in this house. So the fact that you were not even heard of is more curious than anything.
Not worth remembering. And isn't that a good thing overall?
Fennec's gonna put his hand up to say something and then quickly retract it when he looks at Saris.
Yes, did you have a question?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I just wanted to agree with the lady.
Okay. So, I will be able to have this all kind of resolved within the next couple of days. So, do try to stay out of trouble.
I'll give it more than my best effort.
And with that, he is going to kind of take his cup of tea and he's going to go off to a room that he occupies.
Fair enough. And Saris will just yell really loud across the house for Gearfried and Levin.
Gearfried will walk towards the area with just kind of like a confused look on his face. That's what I shout, and that's usually my job.
News! You're back in a neutral standing with House Teorian? There are no consequences anymore.
That's going to require some elaboration.
Turns out the police aren't looking for him anymore, and they don't even remember Melee.
So, Vashti
went
smart
away.
things over?
No, he didn't do anything. They already stopped looking for me by the time he got there.
Levin's eyes are going to open wide at that statement.
Isn't that great?
Do you have a second location you can secure for yourself?
Aren't I supposed to stay here and help guard the thingy-ma-what?
I want for you to think for 5, maybe 10 seconds. Who would disappear your information?
The police? The board?
Think worst case scenarios here.
Takes 5 seconds. All right, Melee, we need to go grab our bags. We're going to be leaving soon.
Why?
All right, I'm lost. What's happening?
Worst case scenario. You can find me in Sean.
All right, hold on. I understand that there's obviously something shady happening right now. Why are you? Who are we concerned about at the moment?
The
Okay.
people who do shady best.
Gearfried, are you familiar with the Houses of Shadow?
Rumors and hearsay.
Really true.
Right.
Except for the pop, they don't know.
I mean, I've heard rumors and hearsay. I've never actually had any hard confirmation on the stuff I've heard.
Most people know House Fjorling and House Thorani as engaging in entertainment. The arts, music, theater, the like.
Right.
They deal in information, and sometimes that requires a physical presence. Do I need to insinuate further?
I think I got it. So thereafter, Sarah. Wait, hold on. Is the remind me your little skin rash? Is that their particular mark?
Yes.
It's of interest to them.
I technically belong to them. At least in their minds.
So they've known about you before all of this.
She sort of sighs, like, my parents were from House Fjarlin, and we were really happy there up until it became apparent I was developing a dragon mark, and my parents opted not to report this to the higher ups and fled with me instead so that we could lead a simpler life away from the political machinations of the most secretive and nefarious house. They took some umbrage to that and chased us across half of Corvair until they caught up with us, and my parents paid the price in buying my freedom. I am disinclined to squander that gift ever. And I hate them.
I see. But why would they do you the favor? I mean, I suppose there's probably some sort of
To
reason.
keep me in one place long enough to come and pick me up.
Would it not make more sense for them to have the police detain you then?
I can evade the police. I've clearly displayed that.
Fair. Well, why don't we just, I don't know, kill him?
Looks at Levin.
He's going to be snickering at that comment.
Yeah.
Good. You've had difficulties dealing with the workings of House Orion, yes?
Yeah, bureaucracy is not my forte.
Now, imagine your difficulties with dealing with that, coupled with a penchant for discreet violence against your
Yeah.
person.
I could see how that would be a bit of a problem.
That bureaucracy tends to involve a lot of knives.
Less than you would think, actually.
More than I'd like.
Well, one is more than anyone would like.
Be that as it may, maybe we're going. Viserys will start very quickly step marching back up to her room.
Whoa. We got a job to do.
I'm not waiting for House Fjarlin to come in and take me away. Because that's what they'll do.
I would surmise that specifically here, they're not going to assail. But if you're stationed here, then they already know where you are, and they could set up lookouts.
What are you proposing, that I stay longer?
No. If they've already taken steps to erase your presence in reports, I already told you my suggestion. Think worst case scenario.
Yes. And that's why I'm fleeing.
Well,
Inform me when you're ready to leave.
Thank you.
I have a suggestion. They know, I mean, they, I assume, have a basic understanding of the group layout, given the fact that we've been assailed already, and both Fennec and I have made a little visit to the constabulary. But upon leaving, we could just do a bit of a hat trick. You disguise yourself as me, I'll disguise myself as something you would normally disguise yourself as. Worst case scenario, they come after me. You can get off scot-free.
You know, you'll be. There's at least 50-50 chance you're offering to die for me, right?
I'm very
Uh,
difficult to hurt.
Looks at Levin.
It's more likely that they would go for capture rather than exterminate.
That's why I said 50-50.
I'm also very difficult to catch.
So, with that, what would you like to do?
Ceres is internally panicking. And so she's like walking very quickly up to her room, grabbing her bag, making sure Maylee has her bag.
Yep, Melee would be following after, and she would be packing as instructed.
Mhm.
Not that she has much.
Neither does Ceres.
Following up on that, Levin is going to be posting and checking windows on the front and rear facing of the manor, just scouting the surrounding area.
Alrighty, go ahead and give me a perception check. Right.
25?
You notice that the guards of the estate are on point. You notice that the blackguard is nowhere in sight besides the casual patrol that you would see kind of going around the corner. As for anything suspicious or anything like somebody is directly watching the place, you don't notice that immediately. How long would you be sitting at each window as you're kind of checking to make sure that there's nothing there?
About a minute, because I'm more scanning the perimeter to see where the guard is thinnest, and trying to refresh my recollection on their patrols to basically give Saris a easier way out to start with.
Alrighty. So you see nothing directly that seems to indicate that she would be impeded.
All right, duly noted. I'm going to then go up towards Saris's room after doing the check.
Alrighty. You would be hearing the flurry of packing as you approach.
He's going to knock twice.
Open.
It's the door. Are you done?
Yes. She finishes throwing like the last thing into her bag, like small bag, as like ready to go. Pulls out her hand crossbow, just in case.
Duly noted. Technically speaking, Melee does not need to run with you for this. In case you don't want to leave as a group.
But I am
Who
her
would you be
body.
leaving with?
I am her bodyguard. Shouldn't I go with her?
Melee, how proficient are you at remaining unseen?
I've been getting better.
How about now?
Adequate. And she's gonna look at Ceres for confirmation.
Levin's gonna look over her shoulder at Saris. Your assessment?
She's not quite at my level yet, but she's actually pretty good.
That'll have to do. Fine. One moment. And he's going to concentrate and cast Pass Without Trace on all 3 of the people in the room.
Okay.
You have an hour.
Can Gearfried be approaching this out of confusion because he's kind of out of the loop?
You know that Pass Without Trace sticks to you, right? Levin?
Yes, but it also, each creature I choose within 30 feet of me.
As long as they stay within 30 feet of you.
Nope.
It isn't?
There is no requirement for distance after the initial cast.
Oh. I've been reading this wrong.
Is she? Wait, they're leaving. They're just abandoning what we're doing right now. Are we all leaving, or are they just they leaving?
You're afraid they are leaving.
Huh.
It is imperative for their safety, livelihood, and comfort that they leave immediately because of the potential for who may be looking for them.
Right.
It vastly outweighs their need to complete this job.
All right, fair. In that case, and Gearfried is going to walk up to Melee. His glove is gonna like flip open slightly, and Gearfried's gonna like tap her on the shoulder, and Melee turns invisible.
Wow. Being invisible is so weird. Do you know how hard it is to walk when you can't see your feet?
Get better.
Okay. As she bumps into a table.
You know what helps? Don't try to look at your feet.
I don't know if they're in town yet, but there is. I mentioned it to Levin a couple of days ago. There's a pair of brothers I know that might be in town. They might not, but I'm friendly-ish with them. They might be willing to house you.
What are their names and how attached are you to their lives?
Axe and Shield Gladdock. They're friends. I'd prefer if they stayed alive, but if you can get to where they are without being seen and hold up there for a couple of days.
I wouldn't be the one killing them, but if they happen to sort of present too much of an obstacle, they may end up dead.
They're pretty hardy.
Quickly, please.
Fair enough.
Here's the.
I have to.
Gearfried will hand you like a little paper with the address on it.
Yep. It's like I have to say goodbye to Fennec, or he's just going to be grumpy all the time.
Are we leaving from up here or downstairs?
We will depart from downstairs.
Okay.
I'll make a show of opening the door and stepping just outside for air.
Excellent. I was just going to ask for that. Let me just go say my goodbyes to Fennec. And I will go find Fennec.
I'll be at the door waiting.
Melee will be in the vestibule.
Yep. Where is Fennec?
Fennec, where would you be?
Still in the dining hall.
There you go. So you would be approaching the dining hall where he would be still eating bacon, or what would you be doing?
He's currently staring at the eastern doors.
Where the office is?
Uh-huh.
Yep, gotcha. So you would come in as he's transfixed on these doors.
He's not. It's not like a death stare, but like he's in his seat, like leg crossed, just kind of like staring and contemplating the doors.
That's even more dangerous. And she it's a bad idea.
Yeah, what's it to you now?
I am actually concerned with your well-being.
That's why you're leaving?
If I don't leave, I will be taken away.
Yeah.
If I
Well,
leave, I have the option to come back. If I'm taken away, I will spend the next 50 years learning how to be a proper noble.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody, so I get it.
And I'm not going far. I should be able to be found in a day. Once you're finished with this job, we'll reconnect.
That's if you want to be found.
I want to get paid, and you will have my money for this job.
Valid point. All right.
As
Take
long
off.
as yes. Just don't go into that room, or I won't get paid, and then I'll see you, and I won't get paid, and you don't want to meet me under those circumstances.
I've already been in there. What makes you think I want to go back? Other than
Well-
the killer robots that tried to kill me, and there's nothing else in there that I found that I still want to know what's in there. But why would I go in there?
Exactly. Why would you go in there if it meant risking my wrath?
And that is exactly why I'm not.
On the
The
same
only-
page.
The
As
only reason I'm not.
you're truly a worthy apprentice, Fennec.
I may be a slow learner, but I am a learner.
You truly are. She will give him the closest thing she knows to affection, a handshake.
So she's moving. Hold on. She's moving within distance. The handshake.
Yes.
Fennec is gonna lunge at her and hug her.
Can I evade?
Sounds like a grapple.
Okay, I would actually
Actually,
prefer athletics.
like the skill or like acrobatics. Athletics and strength.
It is.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going strength, or I'm going dex.
Good luck.
Please tell me you're just gonna hold his head in place.
I'm just trying to see if I anything.
It's not happening.
Hold on. No, I'm just looking at my options here.
You can't do better.
Oh, damn. Okay. No, it's on the
I'm aware of what can be done, but I'm not suggesting it.
Oh, wait, hold on. Can I silver rebarbs that?
There we go.
Let me see.
No. That is
And
a 10.
she sort of catches you like mid leap as she like sidesteps you and catches you by like the cuff of your shirt, like the back, the nape of your shirt, the nape of your clothing. Adds like, nice try. She pats him on the head. You'll get better.
Worth a shot.
I respect the attempt.
Before you leave, Cyrus, if you wind up going to place I suggested, I'm going to hand you a sealed note. This should make them understand a little bit better.
She puts that into a pocket on her person, and she heads over to where Levin is. Regroups with Mei Li. It's like, all right, let's do this.
Alrighty.
You may wish to cast for yourself.
Fair enough. And she will also cast invisibility on herself.
I'm just gonna open the front door and take just a step outside. And if there are guards nearby, he'll preempt them by stating, "Alright, this has been a day, and I just need some air. Do any of you mind?"
Who were you directing the question to? Were you just
If
directing
he
it to the?
if he steps outside and encounters literally any guards that are within like normal speaking distance, like 15 or so feet, he'll
Gotcha.
address them directly and just get their attention briefly.
You aren't approached or you aren't questioned. But at that point, Saris and Mei Li, you would now have the opportunity to leave the estate.
Yep. And we do.
Alrighty. With that, you begin to head out. What is it that you would want to do? How would you be navigating through it?
Probably avoiding crowded streets, and only because I don't think anyone would expect Saris to go there, because up until about 20 minutes ago, she didn't know to go there. She would take up Gearfried's offer
All right.
to go meet the two brothers.
As you are traveling through the city, at the hour, because they are relatively far away from your current location, the hour would expire and you would become visible again.
As she's feeling the hour, like is she sort of mentally keeping track of the time, she would lead them to like a back alley so that she could take just a moment to cast a disguise self on her and let like invisibility fade from Melee and herself.
Before you move off into that alley, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Times.
Right?
So now I regret that Fennec made me roll that 27.
You're welcome.
With that, as you head into the alley, moments later, you are going to see an individual following after you. And as you use your disguise self to change into there's a bit of an echo going on. Thank you. You disguise yourself, and as you do, you hear a familiar voice. "Oh, darling, that dress looked far better on you than what you're wearing now." It is going to sound like the woman who sold you the dress on the train.
She pauses for a moment. It's like turns her head like halfway over and just side eyes who's in the alleyway with them.
You're going to see her. You're going to note that she is leaning against the wall casually. She's got a cigarette in her hand. Like, she looks like that noir type stereotype as she just smiles. Fancy meeting you here.
Indeed. You are a long way from where we last met.
Well, I can't say that I wasn't happy to take this job, but here we are. Now, if you can.
Are you not happy to see me?
Oh, I am. But first, I had to take care of business. So, come with me, please.
You know, you did sell me that dress, Fan Square. I even paid money for it.
Indeed.
She like just comments on that as she follows.
And on top of that, you got to see me naked, so that's a plus too.
You saw me naked too. It's not like we did anything different.
So equal exchange. And
And I
she,
still paid. You got money for the deal.
well, that wasn't for you seeing me naked. That was for the dress, which was a fair price. I didn't overcut you. And as you're walking and talking, you are being led to a fancy house. Not as fancy as a Diorian manor, but it is somebody who looks as if they have new money.
This woman, but she doesn't look elven, does she?
No, she is human.
Yeah, that's right there. Okay.
So, come on with me.
This
Garrus,
is.
Garrus would like to just have a quick conversation with you.
I am unfamiliar with this name.
Well, that's good. Like you, he prefers anonymity, depending on the situation.
Narrows eyes. Before I set foot in that house with you, which dragon marked house are you affiliated with?
None.
That's much better turn of events.
Indeed. You just have to deal with the Boromar clan. No, come on.
Okay. Sure.
And with that,
Better than Hilton.
she is going to lead you into the well-lit house. You do see a full staff. There is, for a smaller house, you notice that there is more staff in it than the Diorian household.
Well, look at that. Job creators. Gotta love new money.
Indeed. You know, Garrus is into all sorts of things. He's got friends in all sorts of social spheres. And he's been interested in you.
That part I don't like.
Come
I
on.
tend to spend a lot of my time avoiding interest. Except for recently.
Well, if it helps, you have been on the radar for a while.
That does not help. That just sounds like I failed.
Well, anybody who says that they are completely invisible is either delusional or just trying to make themselves feel better. Because unfortunately, there is no way to be sure about that. And she's going to point to her eye, and if you look at the right eye a bit closer, you are going to notice that it is similar in a sense to Ramos Duran's leg. As in, she did lose her eye, but there is now a magically augmented eye in its place.
Oh, right.
The world is a very interesting place.
That's always been true.
And with that,
Ah.
she is going to lead you to a fancy library door, which she is going to push open. As you enter the room, you would be seeing Garrus Lakeland. He is a halfling. He is dressed in a three-piece suit. He looks very dapper. And he is going to motion for you to sit down in front of him.
She just kind of mutters to herself, another fennec. But
Excuse
she
me, what was that?
takes the seat.
He asks as you mutter.
Sorry, you just remind me of someone I know.
Hopefully good things. If not, don't tell me, because if I get upset, well, I don't like getting upset. Let's just leave it there. So, you
Duly noted.
have many names. I've heard Talia. I've heard Ceres. I've heard a couple of others over the course of time. You are quite the interesting being, aren't you?
I like to keep people guessing.
Indeed, and I do also believe that you were starting to inquire on the shadier elements of rope and on your first arrival, yes?
I just, new town, visiting, wanted to touch base with the people that matter, let them know that I was here, that I didn't want to step on any toes, as is
And
proper.
that's all I needed. Once I heard the enigmatic one was here, I figured, let me make my acquaintance. And then you got into a spot of trouble, and then I said, well, I can't let this talented individual and her. And he's gonna look at Maylee, a compatriot,
Bodyguard,
bodyguard, rot away in some sort of a prison or have damage to the skin. So I pulled some strings. I just so happen to know a couple of the higher ups within the Blackguard management. And after a small accident, the names on the files just seem to have vanished.
what a happy coincidence.
What a happy coincidence, and in my bliss in helping me, I offered my good friend a huge stipend. So, of course, I do hope that in the future, if I need some work done, you may be able to acquiesce.
Hate to let such generosity go unrewarded.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't ask you to do it for free.
No,
I-
I'm just saying I appreciate the gift that you did, and yes, I was agreeing. Your generous actions merit some
That
kind
is
of
appreciated.
recompense.
And if you are looking for work, well, I heard through the grapevine that you were asked to do something for a acquaintance of mine, Ramasadurin. He didn't tell me, of course. I found out through somebody else who found out through a guy who threatened a guy, but don't worry about that part.
I'm not worried about it.
I need something liberated from the university in Shaw.
You don't say.
I do.
I'm
say.
from there. She pulls out
Wonderful.
University of Sharn mug.
Have you ever happened to hear of a individual by the name of Buddy Knock Merning?
Have I ever heard of them?
You have. In fact, most of the party has heard the rumor that An Ruse had once studied at that university under Buddy Knock Merning.
Okay. Yes. I mean, the name's familiar. I don't believe we've met personally.
But that's even better. So, he has three scrolls of Draconic Prophecy that his. And he's going to breathe in deeply as if suppressing anger. Old disciple stole from me. I'd like them back.
Just out of curiosity, was the old disciple a halfling such as yourself?
And you are going to see anger cross his face as his fist kind of slams down on the table. Don't you ever compare me to him. And
Is the
as he
reaction
looks,
I would.
as you look at him, he has a visceral look, as if you know he has killed multiple people on multiple occasions.
I sorry, did not mean to draw a comparison. It was just the only way I could think of to identify him. At the time, poor choice of words on my part.
I apologize for losing my cool as he starts taking some deep breaths.
No, I think I would be equally offended under the similar circumstances. I've met him.
Safe to say, I do hold a grudge against this individual.
You are not alone. He has racked up quite the little grudge list.
By that I am not surprised, and he will eventually get his due, whether it's through me or through my brother in Sean.
Oh, a goblin that would take on the job of cleaning Corvair of one less unneeded problem for free, if it's that problem.
Now, first, I don't want him dead per se. Bound,
Oh, it's a pity.
gagged, tortured,
Oh,
repeatedly. Yes. Because
I do know a goblin who would take on this job.
despite his difficulties, he is quite talented in decoding the draconic prophecies.
Wait,
That I
he was
want not.
serious about that?
Quite serious. That's how he.
Oh,
That's how he filched my work. He had decoded several prophecies for me before under the close scrutiny of Body Knock Morning. But when I had proffered him 3 scrolls, he absconded with them, made his way to Sean.
thought that was all just a line to impress the ladies, as it were.
Well, of many things he's lied about, that is not one. And he is going to slip over a piece of paper to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you unfold it, you will see that the amount of gold that he is offering is 500 gold pieces per scroll that you bring back.
Am I allowed to enlist the aid of my traveling companions?
Well, before you start enlisting the aid of anyone, I assume I don't have to specify that this is an incognito mission. And with that,
We can be subtle.
he's going to stand up, he's going to walk to a safe that's been hidden, ironically, behind a portrait. And as he opens the safe, he's going to pull out 3 replicas of the scroll. I do not want Body Knock knowing that they're gone. I'd like him to decode these as believing their prophecy.
Feel confident that I can set this up for you?
Well, if you can, it'll open up many, many other opportunities for employment. If you don't, well, my friends may have to pay you a visit.
Only reasonable?
Is that agreeable to you?
These are actually better terms than I usually get, so yes.
Due to your compliance, I'll even add an extra 250 gold pieces into that. For just the extra insurance of subtlety.
Ensure the subtlety.
And then he's
With
going to hold out
all
his
my
hand.
effort.
Do we have an agreement?
Ceres will shake his hand.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, enjoy your freedom. That is my gift to you. And don't be a stranger. You are more than welcome unless you prove unable to handle the request. You are more than welcome.
Excellent. Will the lady be here?
Lena? Yes, she hangs out here quite often.
Is that her name? Wonderful.
Indeed. You'll get a kick out of this. She goes by the moniker Quick Fingers.
Interesting.
Just for
Ceres is
reference,
just sort of.
she's a thief. Just saying.
I know. Ceres just sort of smiles just a little at that. It's like, what a terrible nickname. But yes, excellent. Thank you. I will. What's the time frame on this? I'm assuming sooner is better.
Sooner rather than later. But the prophecies that I have on that scroll, they can wait at least a month. as you
Okay.
said, sooner rather than later.
I believe we are anticipating a trip to Sean in the very near future.
You don't say.
Yes.
And he's just
Somehow
going
I
to
think
give a knowing grin in your direction.
coincidence. What a pleasant coincidence. And
Well,
she
you
will give
must
him a
you must know my business is knowledge.
You are very good at it, clearly. Think I'm going to be happy working for you.
I love
And
to hear that.
she gives him a deep formal bow.
He's going to bow his head respectfully.
Hmm. And she's like, all right. And she will turn and leave. And if she
Alrighty.
sees Lena, she'll give her like a little wave and a wink and leave the building.
Alrighty. Are you still going to be going to Axel and Shields, or are you going to be returning to the manor?
I would return to the manor.
All right. So this would take over a couple of hours. So we're going to
Mhm.
jump back to the manor. You guys have just said goodbye to Saris, with the assumption that you may not be seeing her for a week or so at the very least. And as Fennec mentioned, if she wants you to be found, what is it that you would all be doing within the manor?
For
Like,
Levin, he would continue along with his patrols, but he's going to take note to talk to the staff
Okay.
and basically get a read on how they're doing now that a assistant to another dragon marked scion is basically just getting a read on them since that.
Alrighty. Sorry, can you repeat the question? Or the information you were looking for?
It's not looking for specifics. He's more of ascertaining the attitude of the staff since Vashti has been here.
You notice they are more at ease, as if it's the similar feeling as if the Lord Horridon was here, and it creates a sense of order. And they seem more generally at peace. Now, the demeanor has also changed as Gearfried and Fennec went through their, payment of their crime. So they seem more attentive and less irked. There's still fear, but they are a bit more attentive.
All right, so they're starting to even out and be normal again.
Yeah.
All right.
Are they happy Saris left?
They don't know you've left yet.
Oh, right.
Yeah, as far as they know, you're still in your room.
Fair.
Gearfried and Fennec. Sorry, go ahead.
Mhm. No. It's Levin's not going to be the first to give up that information.
Gearfried and Fennec, what would you be doing?
Gearfried would pass off the shift of watching the MacGuffin to Yami. And in that time, when he's got some spare time, he will head to the library and see if there's any books on artifice that he can look through, transcribe some information from if he finds them particularly interesting.
You wouldn't be able to find a wide selection on artificing or artificers.
Not even necessarily like about the field itself, but like if there's any mention of like famous artificers or like historical figures, yeah.
Yeah, there would really be only one book on that, and you'd be able to get like the most recent history of known artificers throughout the 100-Year War.
All right. Gearfried will grab that book, retire to one of the sitting rooms, and read it for a bit.
Alrighty. And Fennec?
Fennec would be finding kind of like a space where he can just kind of like practice little things. He remembers reading a few things in some of his books that he wants to try. That he's feeling a little bit more powerful and a little bit more confident after he went all Raiders of the Lost Ark on the thief. Um, so he's just kind of like practicing, like just kind of trying to hone in some new, like some skills and abilities.
Okay.
Nothing specific. I'm not going to say anything specific.
Alrighty.
One other question, DM.
Yes, sir.
Since the book is about artificers since the 100 Years' War, would I be able to find my current master's name in that book?
Yes.
Is the information on him accurate to my knowledge, or does it look like he wrote it himself? Like they questioned him about himself when they wrote the little bio.
Give me a history check.
Ooh, okay. Roll for history. 11.
So you notice that there is a blend of comments directly from him and others who have commented about the same things that he's talked about. So there are some kind of add-ends of where it gives his perspective of the story, and then it goes on to like the next paragraph saying, and others who were at the scene have this to say.
Right.
So it's almost like a fact check of what he said to a degree.
Right.
But a lot of what he said was accurate. There weren't too many embellishments, only like 3 or 4 that he's told you in the past.
Okay.
So with that, that would be the course of another 2 or 3 hours. And it's about that time that Ceres, how would you be re-entering the house? Or into entering the estate?
She would where she would cast disguise self to give herself the appearance of like a different young courier lad than the one that is currently wanted by the Dosk.
You mean the one that just got arrested?
Yeah.
Fucking doomed some poor child.
Can't fix that now.
He's gonna be the BBEG.
He is now. Just kidding.
She'll sort of have Melee change up her look a little, pull her ears down, or her hair down over her ears, make her look a little more human,
Okay.
and sort of like have her like put on like a robe loosely, and just like tell her to look sort of important. And she will walk up to the front gate and it's like, "Hello, I have a message for a head steward of the house.
From who?
Ceres." And like points his thumb over his shoulder at Melee.
And you're going to see him take out a sending stone? Hey, boss. Oh, excuse me. Vernon. We have somebody here who says that she has a message from Ceres. Oh, okay, let her in. Understood. And you would see the gates open.
Yep. And 2 of us will walk on through. I assume we can walk across the courtyard to the front door and just go back on inside.
That you can. And Vernon is going to open the door. And as you walk by him, he's going to just kind of shake his head. At least you didn't turn into me this time. Thank you. And he's going to close the door behind him. Well, that is good to know. Can I get you anything to eat? You did miss supper.
No thanks. All my companions in the dining room.
They are.
And she will drop disguise self, head on into the room, and like just walk in as if nothing had changed, and take a seat.
So with that, I am going to say that everybody, unless you specifically say you do not want to be in the dining room, you would just see Saris and Maylee walk in and take a seat as if nothing happened.
What? Hello again.
Yes, I've come to kill you, Fennec. You failed me for the last time.
Yeah, as expected. Took you long enough.
So
Someday
I
I'll
take it that either my friends turned you away or something else happened.
Never reached them. Got a better offer. Have us lined up for a second job in Sean, which will pay upwards of 1,500 gold pieces.
Seems
I mean,
too good to be true.
It's I'm sort of the liaison for this one. And the consequences could be fairly steep for me, so there is a part which can be all too terrible. But the payout's good.
Do you think you could be a little less enigmatic about the how,
Right.
the why, the what, the who?
Right, sorry. That's business, keep forgetting. You're not really into that side of things. I have made some friends who don't have any skin conditions, but and they are interested in acquiring some scrolls that are in Shan, preferably before the month is out.
All right, and is this the sort of thing where we will need to be discreet, or are we going and punching people in the face?
Suspect that there's a little bit of leeway for the punching, but definitely want to lean on discreet as the starting point.
Right.
But good
How much you
news.
get, Levin?
But good news, Fennec. We get to screw over a very particular halfling and get paid for it.
I'm really in.
And since we're already headed to Sean to do our favor for Ramos, this is a way to sort of turn that trip into a money-making venture.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for?
While waiting for this job to finish.
Oh, we could kill 2 rocks with 1 magic missile. I'm into it.
Huzzah!
I mean,
And there we go.
I could, if I could, nope, I'm going to shut up.
I will say, if we do come across said halfling, we cannot kill him.
There goes all of them.
We can maim him.
How about singe, burn, ignite, melt?
I believe he, if I understood the gist of it, he must be sane and capable of talking and feeling pain if and when we turn him over.
I mean, how are we going to know if he's able to feel things if we don't exhaust all of our attempts at producing said?
I think this would be.
I'm just walking in right now. Why are you talking about torturing an individual? What's going on?
Because we can't kill him.
Context, I just came in.
Yes. I'm back. I found out why I am not wanted by the police. I have found a benefactor of sorts, and they have requested us to procure some dragon prophecy scrolls from Sean while we're helping do the Ramos thing in conjunction with it. I don't think it's actually connected to Ramos other than it's Sean. But we can make some money while we're in Sean.
We get to kill, maim.
Only if we see him, which is, I think, low odds on this one. We also have to replace some scrolls with some fake scrolls so that they don't know we stole something. So, discretion really high on the list.
Then
Boy, discretion is
sure
my
you'll
middle
inform
name.
me of any delicate particulars later.
Yes, I will enlighten you with more details at a later date.
Real quick though, I can't help but feel the need to point out that this seems a bit convenient isn't the
Some-
right word for it, but the fact that they were able to clear your criminal record, it's just more of a. This seems like a bit of a them flexing their muscle. Are you being strong armed into this, or is this more of a quid pro quo?
If by strong armed, am I being strong armed into 1,500 gold pieces? Yes.
No, I mean, it seems to me that anyone that has the capability to simply make criminal charges go away, the fact that they've done this, is this something they can hold over you?
It's a column A, column B scenario.
They let's say that let's put it this way. They spent the time and effort because I possess a skill set and a perspective that they find valuable.
But when that skill set ceases to be valuable,
I believe the goal is to keep me happy enough to give them my best effort, but to keep me happy enough to give them my best effort, while understanding that the risk of failure is probably unpleasant.
Right. If that's everything for the evening, if you'll excuse me, my rounds are done and I'm going to retire.
And we're going to
Right.
pause it there for the evening. Seems like a natural stopping point as Severus comes back bearing this news of, hey guys, we've got a 1,500 gold piece job.
Doesn't like a 1,500 gold piece job.
Right? Twist my arm, why don't you? Strong arm me.
Let's do it.
But, gods, I had a brain fart.
Mm-hmm.
With that, next session we will be time skipping a bit ahead so that we are going to be getting to the second to last day of your job. So, everybody else, tune in next time to find out what's going to happen to the Dapper Dans next. Let's see. Until then, please use the QR code in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Check out our merch store. Join us on Patreon. By subscribing to our Patreon, you can join our Discord. You can interact with the cast of not only this show, but the Avatar role players as well. So, please, any support that you give helps us to continue to grow and produce better material. Thank you very much for joining us, and those who tune in later, hope you enjoy the show. For now, have a safe weekend, have a pleasant night, and tune in next week. Say goodbye, all.
goodbye all.
Bye, all.
Good night.